So, good morning, children. Hope everybody is ready with a notebook. I said you to keep a notebook and note down the important points, and you can ask your doubt afternoon or evening whenever you get time. Please read it once and get ready for tomorrow's class. So, what we are discussing is the topic. Force is our topic under discussion. A force can be defined as a push or pull on an object. Again, a force is required to start motion on an object. A force is required to stop a moving object. A force is also required to increase or decrease the speed of a moving object. A force is required to change the direction of object we studied. Again, we can divide these forces into two ways. One is contact forces, another one is non-contact force. It is also called field force. It is also called force at a distance. So this already we studied yesterday, that is what I go a little fast. So non-contact forces only called field forces and forces at a distance also. Examples we are studying yesterday for contact forces. First one is muscular force. Next, frictional force or friction. Friction. Next, normal force and tension. So anybody missed yesterday's class for them? Once more I am just saying here. And for non-contact forces we studied gravitational force, electrostatic force, and we also studied magnetic force. So these are some examples for forces at a distance, and these are the example for contact forces. Again, we studied what is muscular force. What is muscular force? We studied force applied by our body muscles is called muscular force. Force applied by body muscles. So animals and human beings all we use muscular force to do our daily work. And then we studied what is friction. The force which opposes the relative motion of two objects is called frictional force or friction. And today let us understand what is. After completing this contact forces, we will go to non-contact forces. In the two we already completed. What are they? What is muscular force and what is frictional force? And yesterday last I said you write 5 examples for uses of friction. Once more let us see frictional force. Friction. 8th class actually next lesson is completely about friction. So that time it would be very easy for you. And I asked you to write 5 uses of friction. And we explained without friction we cannot walk, we cannot write, we cannot drink, we cannot hold an object, we cannot drive our vehicles on the road. So no work is possible without friction. I can't walk without friction. At the same time, today one more point we need to study is there are some serious defects also because of the friction. Friction is a friend as well as an evil. and uneven. Means friction is both good sometimes, at the same time friction is bad sometimes. For example, when this fan is running, you can touch it, don't touch when it is running. After switching off, if you touch it, you can see it is very hot. Friction creates heat energy. If you rub your both hands together, what happens? We feel it is hot. That heat is due to frictional force. So friction produces heat, that is an energy waste for us. So because of this friction only, there will be internal damage of machinery parts and all. Because of the overheat, sometimes when you close the door or open the door, it produces sound. Friction produces sound. Friction produces sound, and first friction produces heat. Next, friction reduces the life of machinery parts. Friction also keeps what? Energy wasted. Okay, here you can see uses of friction. Okay, see, these are the uses of friction. On earth, friction is very helpful. When you ride a bicycle, the friction between the road and the bicycle slows down the bike. I said you, to reduce the speed, we need friction. And air resistance, a type of friction, slows down a parachute. Or when you throw something into the air, it stops because of the air resistance. Without friction, you would not be able to slow down once in motion. So the motion, when it is stopping, we require a force, and the force which stops the motion is called friction. Your own 2 feet keep you from slipping and falling on the ground because of friction. We are able to walk on the floor because of the friction. Otherwise, we skip. Sometimes friction is not helpful. For example, so there from that point, that are the disadvantages of friction. For example, metal parts in a car engine are always touching. Too much friction between the metal parts wears them out. Wear them out means they get damaged, wear and tear. So wear them out and overheats the engine. Friction produces overheat. Too much friction in vacuum, there is no air resistance. That is why all objects fall at the same speed in outer space. So, okay, children, you understood what are the uses of friction? Other than this one, you can write. You don't depend upon this one, okay? You can write your own examples for uses of friction or advantages of friction, or at the same time, you can write another. Okay. Now let us see. I said you what are the disadvantages or of friction. They produces overheat. They makes wear and tear, means damage. Generally, vehicles, this machinery parts are reused wear and tear. After using a bicycle tire for 1 or 2 years, you can see it is damaged. The cutting, the grooves are gone. So we said that type of things is wear and tear. Or any machinery part, after some years, we have to replace it. This is because of friction. Friction produces overheat. So friction is good and bad, both at a time. Some cases friction is good, but some cases friction is not good. It creates energy wastage. Now let us go to normal force. So it is again a contact force. What is normal force? Let us go. Let us see what is normal force. The meaning of normal is something perpendicular to a surface is called, or 90° to a surface is called normal. Normal means perpendicular. Something perpendicular to a surface is called normal. So normal force means a perpendicular force. What is this normal force? You imagine this is a table. And suppose there is a box. There is a box. There is a table and there is a box. Here you can see the weight of this box. The weight of this box acts vertically downward. Weight in the downward direction. Weight is a vector quantity. It acts downward. Then why it is not, this object is not falling down? It is not falling down because the surface of this table, exert an upward force. So when something is in my hand, this chop is in my hand, the chop is weight at vertically downward, at the same time my hand gives an upward force. That force is called normal force. This is normal force. So the weight is in the vertically downward direction and the normal force. Who is giving this normal force? Not this object. The object force is the weight. This table gives an upward force like this. And that is called the normal force. So how we can define normal force? What is the definition of normal force? The perpendicular force applied by a surface on an object is called a normal force. Student, you understand what is normal force. Now, see here. Here conditions will be there. Suppose this weight of the object is acting down, and the normal force is less than. So generally, normal force will be equal to weight of the object. When the weight of the object and normal force both are equal, this one will be in this position. It will not break the table or it will not fall down. So normal force and weight, whenever they are equal. Suppose if the weight is more than the normal force, we can see the table will break. So here, some children are asking doubt. And children, one request to you, request in order see here, whenever you once go through your app and go through the settings and change the names. Here all children names are not showing. Here they are showing some mobile name like Galaxy J5 and some other number. Only few children names are clearly visible here, because if you raise your hand, we can't understand who is raising the hand. So what you have to do is go to the settings. There you can change your names and write your name properly here. Many children are here. I said, the mobile name and some other names are visible, so we can't understand who is asking the doubt. Okay, now first Yeshwant, one by one I'll give you the chance. Yeshwant, you asked doubt. Next, Hari.
Sir?
Hari, who is asking Hari? Huh?
Yes, sir.
Okay, ask.
Sir, can you explain friction force, sir, once again?
Means definition you want, use you want?
Definition, sir.
Ah.
And can you please explain the field forces, sir? Example, sir.
Field force we will explain tomorrow. One by one we are explaining, okay?
Okay, sir.
First we will complete this. First I said some examples of field force like gravitational force, magnetic force, electrostatic force, okay?
Yeah. Okay,
Again
sir.
we came back to what? Contact forces. After completing contact force, next class we will explain about field forces, okay?
Yes, sir. Now
Okay,
can you
now,
explain friction force
yes. What is frictional force means? See, when you move these two hands, palms together, you feel, what do you feel? You feel the motion is somewhat difficult. At the same time, you apply some oil or you apply some soap powder and do this one, you can see it is very easy. Because in the second case, when you apply, what happens? Friction became less. So what is friction? Friction is the force which opposes the motion of two objects. Friction is the force which opposes the relative motion of two objects. Friction is the force. Friction is a force. Friction is a contact force which opposes the relative motion of two objects.
Sir, in normal force, sir?
Normal force means the force, see, when we keep one object on a surface, say for example this mobile, here I am keeping. Why it is not falling down? Because of the normal force. The force applied by this mobile is its weight. Why it is not falling down? Because of the normal force applied by my hand. my hand. Yes. Suppose can I keep 100 kg like this? 100 kilogram, can I keep it on my hand? No, because that much normal force I cannot apply. So in that case, it falls down. So if the object is not falling down, what we can say, the normal force and weight are equal, but weight is in the downward direction and normal force in the upward direction. So weight acts vertically. Weight is due to the attraction of earth. So it acts vertically downward, but the normal force is the force exerted by a surface. The force, who is writing the definition? The force exerted by a surface on an object in normal direction. That is why it is called a normal force. In normal direction, the force exerted by a surface. The force exerted by a surface on an object in normal or perpendicular direction. In normal direction. Normal direction means perpendicular direction is called normal force.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, completed your doubt?
Yes, sir.
No worries. So you can see here normal force and the weight. So normal force is in the upward direction, vertically upward direction. Weight is vertically downward direction. These two forces are in opposite direction. So whenever these two forces are balanced, we can say balanced means weight and normal forces are equal. The object will not fall down, or the object is an equilibrium position. The object will be. But if the normal force is less than the weight, the table will break and the object fall down. This is your normal force definition is there. You can copy it. A force exerted by an object on another object in a direction perpendicular to the surface of contact.
Sir, the video cannot be.
Answer? What? A force exerted by exerted by one object in a direction. The force exerted by, exerted means applied. The meaning of the word exerted, generally we say force is exerted, applied. A force exerted by one object on another object in a direction perpendicular to the surface, in a direction perpendicular to the surface of contact. Of contact. Contact means where it touches, that is the meaning. So if meaning also, if you do not know, please ask what is the meaning of the word.
Okay, sir.
Because 7th to 8th when we come, we study so many new terms, physical science or physics terms. So generally a force we say applied, a force or applied or exerted, we will say And in which direction? It is in the perpendicular direction. So perpendicular means normal. Perpendicular direction, that is what we say. This is a normal force. Normal means perpendicular. So generally it applies by a surface. When you sit on a chair, our weight is the force what we apply in the downward, and the chair apply a normal force in the upward direction. Everywhere it is there. When you sit on a bench, the bench surface apply a normal force. You know, when you sit on a chair, if the chair sometimes it breaks because it cannot provide that much. So many children are there asking doubt. Let us see one by one. So you check your mobile and unmute yourself. Here I am unmuting. You also, if you unmute only, you can down. You can see one mic symbol. Okay, Rama.
Sir, what is the SI unit of force, sir?
Okay. So very good question you asked. Always when we say a physical quantity, we require a units to express it. So force unit, actually after the studying about the quantity, we did not study, I did not explain about this force much. That is what we did not study the unit. We directly went to the first class we explained. Okay, you are asking now whatever it is, that's not a problem. Many children may be joined later. For them also, remember the unit of force is in SI unit, SI system, the unit of force is Newton. Newton. And it is denoted by simple letter if you are using N. And so, okay, clear it is?
Thank you, sir.
The unit of force is Newton. And whenever you are writing units, okay, that is another day, another class I will explain how to write the units. How to write, there are some things to remember while we are writing units also. So that is another class we will discuss. Still now Surya.
Sir, same question, sir.
Okay, unit you asked her.
Yes, sir.
Okay, clear now it is?
Yes, sir.
Yes, still there they have CGS unit. That is, I said, you know, most important quantity, because 8th class it is very, very important units. So that only for the units I will take you one class. Next.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Sir, once tell the definition of normal force, sir.
Normal force. Can you see the screen? I'll see.
Yes, sir.
It will be on your screen.
It was coming, sir.
Coming now? Okay. While still anybody cannot see the screen, wants to see a force exerted by one object.
Sir, it was not coming, sir.
Okay, then write it. A force
Yes, sir.
exerted by
A force
exerted, E-X-E-R-T-E-D, exerted. Actually, it is there on the board also.
Sir.
It is there on the board also. Check these boards.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Exerted. Exerted means what? Applied. Exerted means applied.
Surface on an object.
on an object in normal direction. Normal means what? Perpendicular. Normal direction is called normal force.
Direction
In normal direction
is called
is
normal
called
force.
is called
Normal force.
yes.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. And children, classes today we conclude this class. So daily you see we are studying very few points, 4 or 5 points only daily we are studying. But these are the central concept of these chapters. So one day how many you are studying today? Actually we studied only the use of friction and disadvantages of friction we studied. Then what is normal force we studied. And next followed by me and next class will be there. These two subjects. So evening again if you revise once these all points, when the school reopens, all these points will be by heart by you. All these points will be very easy for you. So evening also you don't close your books and start the next work note. Just study these points and we will continue the next class. Now NSR will continue this session.
Hello children, good morning everyone. In the last class we discussed about basic biology. Up to 7th class you learned about science. It includes both biology, physics and chemistry. In 8th class you are going to learn about a separate subject, that is biology. Science divided into biology and physics, chemistry. So all these are the branches of science, isn't it? So in biology, it tells us about living organisms. It deals with living organization or living organisms. So biology is nothing but science of life. Science of life. So basically, what is meant by science? The last class we discussed about biology, the words of biology, how these particular words or comes from, and what are the meanings of the biology which we are discussed. Let us see what is the actual meaning of science. Look at here. Science is an organized body of knowledge supported by observation and experimentation. Please note down, science is an organized body of knowledge supported by observation and experimentation. So science, it is a subject which can organized body which contains some observation as well as experimentation. Observation as well as experimentation. So in this particular science, it has different types of branches based on the observation and experimentation. The particular subject is divided into different types of branches. Different types of branches. Let us observe what are those branches. First one, biology. Second one, physics. And third one, chemistry. Okay, children, let us observe this slide. Introduction to biology. What is biology? What is biology, children? It is a science of life. It is a science of life. Here, biology, which comes from two Latin words, which we already discussed earlier. Bio means life. Logos means study. Logos means to study. So, biology is the study of life or the study of living things. Study of living things. Here, another word that is about biologist. Note down, biologist. So the person who studies biology, the person who studies biology. Where also are you writing? Harshita, are you writing? N Harshita. Okay, children. So biology is the study of life or the study of living things. So nowadays, the scientists often prefer the term life science instead of biology. They are saying that life sciences. So biology, in an effort to emphasize the focus on study of life processes. Study of life processes. What is meant by life process, children? Life processes. It is a basic function of living things to maintain life on this earth. That is nothing but life processes. Okay, children. I'm writing the definition of life processes here. Please observe on the board. Look at the board, children. I'm writing the example of life processes and definition now. See, life processes which are carried out in the living organisms. Biology means study of living organisms. So every living organism is composed of different set of organelles. All these organelles are coordinated by the living processes, isn't it? So what are the living processes? What is meant by living process? So life processes. Life processes are present in the living organisms. So now we are studying about life. Now we are studying about life, that is a biology, isn't it? So life processes. What are life processes? What is meant by life process? Look at here. Various functions carried out by living organisms to maintain their life on this earth are called life processes. Various functions carried out by living organisms to maintain their life on this earth are called life processes. So every living organisms contain life processes. What are those life processes? Functions, basic functions. For example, respiration, digestion, coordination, excretion, movements, growth, all these are life processes. All these are life processes. So, biology, which dealing with life processes in a living organisms. So, the study of living organisms and their life processes is nothing but biology. So biology, which study about living organisms and their basic functions. The basic functions are nothing but metabolic activities. Metabolic activities are nothing but basic functions. So, biology, which tells us about various functions present in the living organisms. Present in the living organisms. Okay, children. So, note down this definition and write the examples of life processes like digestion, respiration, circulation, etc. Note down these examples. Okay, children. Now let us see next slide here. Yes, now let us see history of biology. History of biology. So biology is an organized study, but in the history, Aristotle was the first person to study animals in sufficient detail, and he is called the founder of or father of biology. Please note down, children. Srikant. Are you writing? Srikant, note down in your notebook. See here, children. Aristotle, he was the first person to study animals. He is the first person to study animals in sufficient details. And he is called the founder of or father of biology. So he is a Greek philosopher, first who classified living things as to air, land, or water dwellers, and also he is the father of biology. Please note down, children. Father of biology. Okay. This is the additional information. So please note down in your running notes. Vasant, are you writing? Vasant Kumar? Okay. Next, another scientist, Galen. He is also one of the scientists, a Greek physician, first to dissect apes and pigs. So, what is meant by dissection? Dissect means to observe internal organs to dissect the organism. So, the process is nothing but dissection. So, with the help of dissection, we can find internal organs of the organisms. So that process is called anatomy. So he is the scientist, he was the scientist called father of anatomy. Father of anatomy, Galen. So Galen was the person who studies about anatomy, so that he is the father of anatomy. Next, it is completed. Galen completed. Yes. Next, Andreas Vesalius. Andreas Vesalius. He is also one of the biologists, made the first dissection on the human anatomy. He observed parts in the human, dead bodies of the human. He observed the internal organs with the help of anatomy. So, and he discovered comparative anatomy. He discovered comparative anatomy. Who is the scientist? Vesalius. Oh, so he is one of the scientists who made the first dissection on human anatomy, discovered comparative anatomy. Comparative anatomy. Next, Marcello Malfigi. Marcello Malfigi or Marcello Malfigi. Okay, children. Marcello Malfigi. So he was Italian physician, founder of microscopic anatomy. Here the word microscopic. Here the word microscopic, which explains about tiny tubules of blood vessels, which explains about blood vessels. He studied blood vessels, smaller blood vessels in the circulatory system. Okay, children. So founder of microscopic anatomy. Microscopic anatomy. So microscopic means he observed very tiny and very small blood vessels. He studied about very small blood vessels in the circulatory system. So who is that scientist, children? Marcello Malfigi. Here my question is, who is the father of biology? Who is the father of biology? Here my question is, who is the father of biology? What is your answer, children? Who is the father of biology? Yes? Very good. 14 participants raised their hand. What is your answer? Who is the father of biology? 18, 20, very good. 22, good, good. What is the answer? Yes, Aristotle. So Aristotle was the father of biology. Okay, children. Okay. Next slide. Anton von Leeuwenhoek. Anton von Leeuwenhoek. He is a scientist who discovered. He is a scientist who discovered living cells for the first time. Living cells. Who discovered living cells in the body of living organisms? Who discovered living cells in the body of organisms. Add one more point, children. He is the scientist who discovered living cells for the first time. In which year? 1674. Note down. In the year 1674, he observed living cells. He observed living cells. So, Antony von Leeuwenhoek first used microscope and discovered microorganisms such as protozoans called animalcules. That protozoans called animalcules. Those animalcules later on called as bacteria. Beside animalcules, please write bacteria. Beside animalcules, please write bacteria. So, who discovered living cells for the first time? Antony von Leeuwenhoek. In which year? 1674. 1674. Okay, children. Antony von Leeuwenhoek. So, animalcules are anotherly called as? Animalcules are anotherly called as bacteria. Bacteria. Okay, next slide. One of the great scientists, Charles Darwin. Next scientist, Charles Darwin. Charles Darwin was father of modern biology. Please note down additional point. Charles Darwin was the father of modern biology. He was the father of modern biology. And he wrote the book, a famous book on the origin of species. Origin of species by means of natural selection. He explained about nature and the diversity of animals, differences between organisms. So that specialized book, that is nothing but on the origin of species, which explains about natural selection. Natural selection. So, who is the father of modern biology? Yes, Charles Darwin. Charles Darwin. Who is the father of biology? Aristotle. Who is the father of modern biology? Charles Darwin. Charles Darwin. And who is the father of microbiology? I'm representing a slide here. Who is the father of microbiology? Antony von Leeuwenhoek. Anton von Leeuwenhoek. Note on the additional point here. Father of microbiology. Please note down, children. Father of microbiology. Father of microbiology. Next. Let us observe branches of biology. Branches of biology. Look at here, branches of biology in the next slide. See, divisions of biology. Division of biology. See, what are the two major divisions of biology, children? The last class we already discussed that divisions of biology. First division, that is about botany. First division, botany. First division, botany. And the second division, zoology. Zoology, botany and zoology. So botany, the study of plants. Zoology, the study of animals. Here one more division also be there. Let us discuss now. Okay. So children, look at the board here. Biology. It is a study of living organisms. It is divided into different types of branches like botany, and second one, zoology, and another division, please note down, microbiology. 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 Biology, which divides into three main divisions. Please add one more here. Botany, zoology, microbiology. Botany, zoology, microbiology. It is a study of plants. It studies about plants. It is a study of plants. And it is a study of animals. Animals and humans. Animals and humans. And the next study, next main division, that is about microbiology. Microbiology. It studies about microbes like bacteria, virus, bacteria, virus, protozoa, bacteria, virus, protozoa, fungi. These are the names of microorganisms. We discuss these microorganisms in the next coming classes. Okay, children? First, note down these examples. Please note down these examples. Microbes like bacteria, virus, protozoa, fungi, and one more, algae. Algae. So microbiology is one of the important division in the biology, which explains about microorganisms like bacteria, virus, protozoa, fungi, and algae. So these are the major category of microbes. Microbiology who studies about microbes, which gives full information about microbes. What are the microbes? Bacteria, virus, protozoa, fungi, and algae are called microbes. Okay, children. So these are the branches of biology: botany, zoology, microbiology. These are very important branches. Okay, children. Let us see another slide. Look at the slides, children. Let us observe some more studies in botany. Botany, it is a study of plants, but in that also we have different types of studies. Please note down this table. Look at the studies here. Dendrology, study of trees and their history. Mycology, study of fungi and some association in with plants. Third one, palinobotany, study of fossil plants. And fourth one, phytopathology, study of diseases of plants. Study the principles of botany in growing food, that means plants, growing plants. And pomology, the study of cultivating fruits. So these are the studies, different studies in the branch of botany. Please note down, children. These are the different studies in botany about trees and the diseases and the growing plants and the cultivating fruits. So all these are the different studies present in botany. So what are the things which we discussed today, children? Life science, it is biology and the growth of biology, history of biology, and the divisions of biology, and branches of biology, and the terminology which we discussed in this class. Okay, children? And zoology and the studies of zoology we will discuss in the next class. I hope you enjoyed my class. Thank you.